you know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go to the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he could last dream. He's the first man to prove that water run upstream. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yes, you know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go to the pen.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We have a special hour of the Crazyhorse Fishing Hour, and I can say so much about Eddie Weber, the Severn Angler, but I'd like to bring him in. Can we do that? Let's just roll in here. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am super excited. I was sharing with Eddie, I think I shared this with you at the Pasadena Fishing Expo, that I was following you long before I became serious even about fishing, which is kind of funny. And now here we are together on the fishing channel.
I know, full circle. I love it.
Super excited about this and really honored that you're here with us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here talking fishing.
Yeah, for sure. So what I like to do is introduce our guests to the audience, because sometimes we have people who are not from this area and sadly don't even know who you are. Who are these people? I don't know. But just a few things about Eddie. I was listening to a podcast that you were recently on, Bubba the Hunter. I really enjoyed that. That was a really exciting podcast to listen to. Rarely ever there's an exciting podcast, but this was one I was really excited for. Your cute little daughter won video of the month on the Fishing Channel last month. So that was
she's my fishing buddy, that's for sure.
If you haven't seen it, check out that precious video on the Fishing Channel Facebook page. You also got fourth in last month's championship tournament, the Gauntlet. What did you win with that fish? What fish did you get to win?
So I actually got the biggest fish of the day. It was a 3-round tournament, which was pretty cool, hosted by Amped Up Outdoors Snakehead tournament. So I think it started with over 50 guys, cut down to 20 and for round 2. And then the top 5 went to the championship. We fished Mariners Point. Pretty tough day. I missed a bunch of fish, like everyone did that day, but got a 30 something and a 20. Ended up fourth, just couldn't get the third one to get in the top 3, but I was fishing against some of the best out there, so it was a good day. It was a fun day. For
sure. Fourth is still a tough spot to get with some of the competitors in that championship. So kudos to you for making fourth. You worked really
Absolutely. Hard. Appreciate it.
For sure. So Eddie is also known, if you haven't checked out his Facebook page, please do. We'll plug that at the end of the show or during the show. But Tackle Tip Tuesdays, I like that a lot, especially the most recent one, because I also caught a nice size white perch recently as well. So if you haven't checked out those tips, we will actually touch on that during the show, and maybe Eddie will do a little quick Tackle Tuesday for us on the show.
Yeah, we'll do a tackle tip demo today. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. That's going to be fun. So make sure you follow Eddie on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, we'll post it a little bit. So we also have question of the evening as usual. So Eddie gets to choose, and Eddie also brought his own prizes. What are they, Eddie?
Yes. So choice of a hat, or we have my logo, my brand, the Severn River Angler shirts. So the long sleeve performance, that's the Severn River Angler one. My newest design, Snakehead fishing, hooked forever.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? We have that in a performance. It's another in blue, the Severn River Angler. And 2 other options. Kind of good segue, but Severn River Living design, and very limited sizes. So one I'm wearing right now, but perfect for what we're going to talk about. Pickerel shirt. So coming out with probably more of that this fall, but those are the options for the prize, and pick the best question of the night.
Wow, winner's choice. What a selection.
Yes.
Love
Yep.
it. I love that you had Snakehead and Pickerel on your shirts as well. That was very unique, and I really like the choices there. But so again, question of the evening, wins, geez, all kinds of options there for a prize. And let's get into it about you, because there's so much to talk about. And we usually start with this because, again, most people don't know who you are. Your fishing story. How did you get into fishing?
Yeah, so I have been lucky enough to live on the Severn my whole life. So I've just always lived on the water. Love the water, love the Severn. It's really, I think, just weirdly in my genes. My mom's dad was a huge fisherman, and I really barely knew him. He passed away when I was really young. But my mom believes it's just in my genes. Just the passion for fishing. They would joke every vacation, as long as there was somewhere for me to fish, I was happy for hours. So it's just kind of in my blood, I think. And, it definitely got reignited a few years ago with COVID, and repowered our Grady White. So that's really kind of kicked it back off, reignited it, started the Severn River Angler, and I'm just taking advantage of every moment I can on the water.
Right on. Well, you have a really strong following and great supporters who are chiming in here. Can you bring one comment up? I want to get...
Got tons. Right?
Just shoot. Oh, legend, right?
I wish. I appreciate it.
I need merch, no doubt. I need merch too, yeah. Just really positive pouring in. Really appreciate that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, appreciate
it. I follow you on Facebook, and the Severn Angler, right? Very important name. Not about you, and I was reading what you wrote, and it's about the experience of fishing on the Severn River, and you know what, I'm not going to give it any justice. I surrender. Can you please take over and explain what the masterpiece of this is?
Yeah. So back a couple years ago, when my passion got reignited for fishing, again, we repowered the Grady White that I fish on all the time, and I just spent a lot of time on the river a few years ago, and just realized, I love the Severn. A lot of people love the Severn. There's a lot of great bay stuff. You guys have fantastic bay apparel, rock the bay, which I love. But there's not a lot of river stuff out there, river specific. And, I take a lot of pride in fishing on the Severn and living there. So I just kind of have built that brand, if you will, through the love of the Severn and fishing there. It's a very cool river. There's so many species. There's so many creeks to explore. You can fish it year round, as we'll talk about with pickerel. And I just thought that, there needs to be more river stuff to, bring the love of the river together for people. So,
yeah.
And it's connecting me with a ton of people that live on the Severn. I know James right there. We fish out there all the time.
Severn rocks. Eddie rocks. No doubt. The fishing channel rocks. That's nice. Yeah.
Appreciate all the support.
What I got from what you wrote too, it's more about, camaraderie than anything else. Tell me if I'm wrong about this, but
absolutely.
Watching, the other fishermen in that area on Facebook and Instagram, and we had the pleasure of having Octane on our show, which he talked about, what I call the band of brothers. I think it signified more unity and also bring awareness to freshwater fishing as well, which I'm super stoked for. We had Lori Blue, if you're familiar with her, on the show 2 months ago, and that had it rolling. And I was like, we need more freshwater fishermen on the show and bring awareness to the rivers and the other tributaries that are
Love
really
it.
important and full of such amazing fish. There's nothing like being on a kayak on the lakes, the ponds, the creeks, and just being out in nature. So I'm not going to steal any more of your thing, but I get super excited.
No, I love it. I totally agree.
We have a question from Rashawn with the Legion of Anglers, also Infamous Fishing. When are you doing a Severn River cleanup? Okay.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, we can target a couple good launches. There's not a whole lot of public water launches on the Severn, which is a good and a bad thing. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I know that the Legion of Anglers are really big on their cleanups. And
Yeah, it's a great thing.
Our resources are taken care of as much as possible. Here we go. One of your fellow band of brothers made a comment there. Oh, just lost it. All right.
Yeah, that's my Pickerel Man, Mark.
I met Eddie through fishing. Right on.
Yep. Hey, Pickerel brings people together. Severn brings people together. I love it.
Yes, for sure. So I want to get into a really hot fish. That's okay. Pickerel.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. So coined, and I understand this too, because my first winter here, I asked Grant, I said, what do we fish for during the winter besides fish? And mentioned pickerel. And I had the pleasure of going out with some of the members of Legion of Anglers and Melody at a place unknown to go pickerel fishing. And that was really exciting, but coined the winter snakehead.
Yes.
So can you tell us about pickerel?
Yeah, I got really hooked on them a few years ago. Again, when my passion got reignited for fishing the Severn. Steve Kahn, owner of High Octane, really got me into him. Got me out there fishing for him. He's kind of like my pickerel Jedi master, if you will. Even though he's probably taught me too much now. But yeah, I love being able to fish all year round, and love chasing rockfish in the fall, transitions to pickerel. And man, you talk about going out in nature and just being by yourself. When it's 30 degrees in the middle of January, there's not a whole lot of people on the water, and it is fun to just be back in those creeks. And man, you can hear the silence sometimes. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had the pleasure of going fishing with Lori, another person that I've been following for a while, and I got to fish with her. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
In Virginia, places unknown. But yeah, there was no one around. It was dead quiet, and just really enjoyed being out in nature, fishing. But pickerel in particular, I guess let's talk about this time of year. So what's going on in the Severn River with pickerel as far as fishing is concerned? What kind of water are they in? We'll get into baits a little later.
Yeah.
Basically the behavior and what you're seeing as far as just searching for the pickerel and finding them.
Yeah, so you can find them year round, but they really become more active now is really when it starts kicking off. The water has really dropped almost 12 degrees in the last 10 days. It was pretty close to 80 about 2 weeks ago, or at 80. And when I launched this morning, it was, 67 to 69. So below 70. And that's really when they start kind of coming out of whatever they do in the summertime. In the summertime, they're just so deep. They love the cold water. So right now, when it's really cold in the mornings, they'll come up, they'll be in 6 inches of water right on the bank. Like literally you can throw it in the reeds, throw it on the beach and reel it off the beach, and they'll hit it 6 inches of water, which is really cool. So then the more colder it gets, the more active they get, which is really fun. Really like in that 50.
David Sikorsky with CCA.
That's right. That's right.
Support
So really,
that.
like, I think that 50-degree mark in the water temp is when they are really super active, in the probably mid 50s, and the big ones start coming out. I've actually had some of my best days on those first really cold snaps. So if it's 60s, 50s, and then we get a day that's like 30, I've caught some of my biggest ones on those freezing cold mornings, because I think that just boost in cold water or something gets the really big ones moving. Because actually, I've caught some nice ones right now, but the real thick 24, 25 inchers definitely come out when it gets even colder. December, kind of mid-December-ish time.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I have a comment coming from the audience.
No problem.
Everything
No
okay?
problem.
Okay, all right. No worries.
Sorry about that, folks.
No
We had to
worries.
block somebody.
We're good. Someone was misbehaving.
Oh, no.
Blocked.
We
So
can't have that.
I've had the experience of pickerel fishing and snakehead fishing. I know that you're really passionate about snakehead fishing as well.
I
We're
am.
mainly focusing on pickerel in these conversations we're going to have, but I want to share with the audience, if you can, the difference that you see in the behavior and maybe a little bit of the fight between the snakehead and the pickerel.
Yeah, like you said, I call them the winter snakehead because they're actually very, very similar.
Yes.
They're both very aggressive feeders. Like they will go attack something,
Yep.
Which is very cool. I'll run my lure just like snakes. If you're running a chatterbait along the reed lines or the pads, or if you're throwing your paddle tail along a laydown, the pickerel will come snapping out of that, and just like a snake will come snapping out of the pads and just crush it, which is super cool in the wintertime, because in the Severn, at least last couple of years, it gets so clear. Like last year, I could see 4, even 5 feet down in the water, so you can't quite sight cast for them, but you can see them coming out of wherever they're hiding from a couple feet away, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. I had that experience as well, where I saw the pickerel just swimming along the shore, and it was pretty clear where I was too. I do enjoy the fun as well. We're going to get into that in a minute, but Grant's saying that we're having some questions coming in, so let's start with that.
And I also want to say they're both very aerobatic. They both jump out of the water a lot, which is a lot of fun. Yes. Especially like in the fall time. The pickerel are like, I don't know why, but they just love to jump out of the water.
Yeah, I think Butch on another show, when he was trying, I think it was when we were with Cambo, he talked about what did he call it? A dolphin jump?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one. Carl Ward. Hi, Carl. It was nice to meet you at the Tangier Classic, by the way. What's your favorite lure for the winter time pickerel fishing? Okay, let's get in the lures. Let's do that.
All right. Jump right into it.
Yeah.
So it's an easy one for me. So this is kind of, it's reversed for me, so it kind of throws me off. But this is the high octane torpedo spin.
Yes.
So it's got this blade on the back. This exact color combination, pink in the back, pink blade, and white and pink jig head. I used a lot of GI jigs last year. Fantastic brand. Yes. This is High Octane's new jig head. So we're going to be testing these out as well and releasing these very soon. But this exact color combination caught me, I think, 5 of my 6 biggest last year. And especially when it was cold in the wintertime, like colder. They loved the pink for some reason. In the fall, they actually loved the chartreuse blade and more of the green head, which was really interesting. So I like these a lot. This is a 3/16. Steve gives me a hard time all the time. You have to have 3/16. I prefer 3/16 over a quarter. I just think it falls just just a little slower, just enough to keep it in the water column just a little bit longer. I'll just, twitch it along, let it fall, twitch it back, let it fall. And this blade just goes crazy. Or I'll slow retrieve it, very, very slow, and then give it a quick pump. So pickerel are very reactive, just like snakehead also, that they'll follow this lure all the way to the boat. And as soon as they think it's getting away, well, they'll either follow it to the boat and they'll swim away, or they'll grab it. So that quick dart really helps get that reaction strike.
Okay. I have a question about that lure, but I'm going to save my question to let others in here. Sam, how you doing? Okay, Sunshine. Is that me or you? I know you're
I'll pass that one to you.
Guy. Okay, that answers that question. You're Sunshine. But if you really had to pick your favorite fish to catch, what would you pick?
Between I guess all fish. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because snakehead are definitely my summer fish, and pickerel are my winter fish.
Must pick.
A must pick, man. That's a tough one. Probably snakehead by an absolute hair. By an absolute hair. I wanted to say pickerel because I'm really excited for this fall and really excited to get going for pickerel fishing, but there's nothing like snakehead fishing either. So,
wow.
But man, that's a tough one.
You're braver than I am. I would have said I have no favorites.
I heard Grant say I had to pick it back.
Representing both. So Michael Cool, what's your favorite condition for pickerel? How is it different than rock or snake?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's pretty similar to snakehead. I like it when it's a little cloudier rather than a full sunny day. Calm, just like snakehead, they don't like a lot of current. They don't like a lot of wind. They like to be able to chill in their little spot and, behind a log or wherever, and just have a little bit of current running by, just enough for a fish to swim by to ambush it. So I would say they're easier to catch than snakes when it's sunny. You just have to go a little deeper and find those kind of either shadier spots or those deeper ledges where they'll be. But so a cloudier day, they just feel a little more comfortable, calm. I wrote a note also down here, but those are kind of the what's different about pickerel and snakes with water condition is that I personally in a tidal area like higher water rather than lower water. So in the wintertime, the tides can be really, really low. So on those days when the water is sucked out, the wind has sucked the water out. It's pretty tough to find them. You'd think it'd be the opposite, where they would kind of congregate in the channel edges, and you can find them easier. But man, I've had some of my toughest days when the water's so low, where as opposed to snakes, when the water is really high, they go way back in the reeds and you can never find them. So water height is a big thing that I look at with pickerel fishing in the winter.
All right. Great question, Michael Cool. Scott Kem. What are some differences in fishery and ecology from the Severn that makes it different from other rivers in the area that may help an angler to unlocking its fishery? I love that terminology there. Unlocking.
All right. I think I follow it. What's different? So me and Steve and the guys talk about this all the time with the Severn versus the McAfee and the Patapsco, and I'll kind of link the South in with the Severn as well. Why the snakehead population isn't as thriving or isn't as high in the Severn as it is in the McAfee, and especially the Patapsco, because pickerel are a freshwater fish. They prefer freshwater. They can withstand brackish just like snakes. But I think the Severn definitely gets saltier and stays saltier than the McAfee and the Patapsco do. So that that kind of hurts the snakehead population, or keeps the snakehead population down. Because it's amazing how warm the Severn gets so quickly. And we went back in the creek and there were like a million jellyfish. Like every square inch was covered in jellyfish, which just shows a lot of salinity still, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess that answers your question, Scott, but I'm not exactly sure.
All right. Well, Scott, let us know if that answered your question. That was a good question. I think he's trying to.
Go ahead and get people to send positive vibes to Ellie.
Oh, yes. Okay. I do apologize. I'm going to have to interrupt the questions for just 1 second.
That's okay.
So Hurricane Ian has devastated Cuba and is heading towards the Gulf side of Florida due to strike Fort Myers area, Tampa, and up to Orlando. Our boy E from our Southwest Inshore Fishing Report just chimed in and said, hey, oh, is he on there?
You just said hey.
Okay, there he is. Yeah, he said, hey, so we just want to say, send prayers and love out to you, E, and your family. I hope you got somewhere safe, and everyone who's tuned in as well. If you're in that area, I hope that you got to higher ground. And if anyone has family, our hearts go out to you. Hurricanes are no joke. Even with advanced notice, they could be very devastating to just about everything it touches. So
absolutely.
Sorry about that. That was
no, that's okay. My sister just moved down to Key Largo, and her boyfriend lives in Key West. So it just kind of passed through there, and just because it's passed, watch for the storm surge, because the storm surge is a lot of times worse than the actual hurricane. So water's no joke.
Very true. And Puerto Rico was devastated recently as well. I'm part Puerto Rican. My family lives there and everything.
Thoughts and prayers go out. Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing us to kind of put that in there really quick. So we'll go back to the questions here. D-Train. What rod, reel, type of line? Oh, he's covering it all here.
I like it.
He got all my questions. Grant must have sent it to him. And lure, do you recommend for beginners, right? We always try to gear this to beginners for pickerel fishing, or he calls it pickerel fishing.
So start with, we'll just go kind of right down the line. So I like a little bit heavier rod than a lot of people use for pickerel. So I use a medium action rod or medium weight rod, because I like medium weight, fast action, because I like to be able to set the hook really quick. As soon as you feel the slightest tap, set the hook, because a lot of times I don't know what they do, but sometimes it's just the slightest tap that you feel, and then you gotta set the hook. So I like just having a little bit more backbone, that medium heavy, or not the medium rod. Reel, I use 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 size reels. A lot of my just rockfish stuff, a lot of my rockfish jigging reels I use for pickerel. And then line, I use braid, 10 or 15 pound braid. But then I always put a leader on that's at least 25 pounds. So I use a 25 pound or 30 pound leader attached to my braid, because of their teeth and biting through butting through the braid and the mono or fluoro. And I don't know if I have one here, but I always use those tactical clips also, attached to. I don't know if I have one of those, but
We're trying to see.
We have them, but it's not.
Okay, yeah, we have no idea where ours is.
I don't know where it is either, but it just helps kind of guard, the tip of the lure from getting cut off from the line, just that extra, half inch or whatever it is. So for beginner lure, also this is a new lure that we're coming out with from High Octane. This underspin is just a super, super simple, cast it out, underspin, let it just slow roll it through. And as soon as you feel that hit, set the hook. I use a 4-inch paddle tail. This is actually one of my favorite colors. This Z-Man Beer Run with a gold blade. I don't know what it is, but Pickerel love gold also. They have expensive taste, I guess. Gold shiny things they love. So
Yeah.
Beer Run, that last year was a killer for me. And then again, the camera's all backwards on me. The Torpedo spin. So that'd be number 2. A really fun lure we're coming out with from High Octane is this mini chatter, which I'm really excited about as well. It's kind of hard to show.
Pretty good. You're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Steve. I got the permission. I didn't know if it was top secret or not.
Yeah. I was like, we're getting the first on the show with new lures that have.
You're right. You're right. So we just went over today and got this evening, literally. And Steve was like, "Hey, I got a surprise for you." So this is a weedless underspin jig head. So it's got the underspin attached with a wire there, so it's just super sleek. It's actually a screw or a screw hook, whatever we call those hooks. Steve's got all the good terminology, but this is going to be absolutely fantastic for thicker cover or throwing it in the leaves. A lot of times in the fall when all the leaves are coming down, you'll get in a cove and it'll just be absolutely covered in leaves. But the pickerel are waiting right under those leaves, so you can be able to throw something like this. Not something like this. This is exactly right into the middle of that. Let it sink for just a second and just retrieve it right under the leaves, and they're gonna absolutely crush this. I just know it. So,
can you show us that one more time and bring it a little closer? I can see it clear, but I want to make sure everyone can see the detail of this weedless jig head. That's crazy. Beautiful, and a little bit to your left. There you go. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Weedless jig.
Does that screw in?
Yeah, there's a
so that's a screw lock hook Steve was putting together, and it's very, very cool because put a wire straight through to the head of the jig head. Wow. So it's just very streamlined, which is it's just gonna crush it.
Well, what you and High Octane are doing in your band, I call them brothers.
Yeah, I like it.
It's just really engineering. It's, I haven't seen every single lure company around, but this is very unique and special. And we talked about that on the show.
It is. Yeah. I was picking up stuff to show you guys tonight on the show, and Steve was like, hold on. You can't come in yet. He was putting that together.
Don't talk to the man behind.
Surprised me with it. Yeah. So I'm going to test that out tomorrow.
We have another question. Brian Dolph, Fluoro or Mono shock leader? ?
I guess I don't use pure fluoro. I use a mono coated fluoro, whatever they call it, that R line, I think. It's actually just line that's 30-pound. I don't think they're that picky on mono versus fluoro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question I wanted to give Max is,
yeah, sure.
It's very similar.
Okay. Sorry, the man behind the curtain over here is talking to me.
That's all right.
What leader material do you prefer for pickerel? What is the smallest pound test you feel comfortable getting away with their sharp teeth? That's a good question. Yeah.
Yes. So leader wise, 25 pound minimum. 2 years ago, I did 15 and I got bit off quite a bit. And the tactical clip helps a lot. I got lazy one time last year and was like, I lost a lure. I snapped it off. You know, you're going to throw them in the stumps or whatever and just get snagged or whatever. But I was like, couldn't find a tactical clip. I just tied it on real quick with just straight to the mono or fluoro, threw it back. No joke. Next cast, bite, lure was gone.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that's the last time we'll do that.
Lesson learned. So I love that you're so transparent about this. we all go through these things. Okay. Your buddy has a question for you. What kind of knot do you tie braid to the leader?
Gives me a hard time. Hey, I'm getting the full team on the FG knot train. FG knot is my go-to. It takes a few more minutes, but it's so smooth coming through the guides. Because I also like to run a longer leader when I'm pickerel fishing. Like sometimes my leader will be 5 feet because every pickerel I catch, check your lure or check your line afterwards because their teeth are so sharp that they'll cut through just that little nick, and then the next fish you're missing a new PB. So
for sure. Our boy E, thanks for the love. Cannot wait to receive my new Redfish shirt. Is on the way.
Nice. Those things do look awesome.
I hope it's not delayed for you. Thank you, E. Real Chesapeake, have you found that upsizing or downsizing your lures has made a difference in size of the pickerel caught? Oh, I love that ratio question. It's good. Or do you generally stay within the 3 to 4 inch range?
It's a great question. So in the early fall, I use a 4 inch, and that seems to do pretty well. But actually, it's kind of the opposite of what you would think. I downsize in the deep winter. Like I'll go from 4 to 3. So I don't do much smaller than a 3. But the 3 in January works a lot better. This camera's messing me up.
No, it's good.
The 3 works a lot better in the deep winter. I don't know what it is. And the size of the fish, they'll citation pickerel will eat this 3 inch all day long.
Nice. It's a good one. Giving all your secrets away.
That's right. That's all right.
Rashawn, have you ever frogged a pickerel?
No, that is on my bucket list for this. Well, I did on accident. So I was fishing this summer for snakes in the Severn and was using a frog along the grass, and a pickerel smashed it. Absolutely smashed it.
Story.
And I set the hook and I didn't get him. But that is on my bucket list for the fall. That would be a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'd like to pause for a minute since we're talking about bucket lists. You know, like I said, I follow you on Facebook. I see every so often that you put a bucket list up. And it looks like you hit almost all of them every time. Even your cobia, your red that you recently put on your list. That's pretty amazing. I love
thank you.
Of intention and then going and getting them. So that was really cool that you did that. Also,
appreciate that.
You know, you made a list of, and I couldn't find it, but you made a list of all the fish that you caught in the Severn River. And it was a pretty detailed list. Can you share with the audience just some of them? I know there was probably like 14 or 20 fish on that list, but some of
Yeah. So white perch spot, yellow perch, not this year, but I caught one last year. Pickerel. I have yet to catch a snakehead in the Severn, actually. That is still high on that's number 1 bucket list on the Severn. still. So I'm still chasing those. I've caught a couple flounder in the Severn last year. I caught a little weak fish. There was a little debate on whether that was a weak fish or a sand trout or whatever. I think they look exactly the same, but whatever. I've caught a little puppy drum in the Severn, not this year, but last year. Rockfish, of course.
Yeah.
I think
That's a lot.
Bluefish, mackerel. Yeah, that's what I love the Severn. You can catch depending on the year, you can catch a little bit of everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mentioned that too, as people are coming in and out of this live stream, just bring more awareness to the tributaries, not just in the Chesapeake, but pretty much everywhere. I think it's this in the last show, kind of like a diamond in the rough that is overlooked quite frequently. So I appreciate you, your team, and everybody who's chimed in that I know who fishes these areas and kills it. And bringing awareness to these areas is really awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even, we'll get into kayak stuff later because I want to hit some questions too. Michael Cool, do you feel there's more pickerel on the west side versus east side question here?
West side.
Yeah, maybe I just we do an east side versus west side snakehead tournament, so maybe we should do a west side versus east side pickerel tournament. That's not a bad idea. A bad idea. So it's a great question. The west side definitely has some very big fish. The mill ponds on the east side definitely. I'm not sure about the tributaries. I can't talk about the tributaries on the east side because I don't know as much about those. But the milk ponds on the eastern shore do hold some nice 26, 27-inch fish. There's less of those in the Severn, Magathie, Patapsco, but I would not be surprised this year if there's bigger fish coming out of the Severn and those other rivers than the east side, or just as big. Because last year I've been kind of tracking a certain class of fish where 2 years ago we caught a lot of 1920s. That was 2 years ago. Last year we caught a lot of 21, 22s. So this year, hopefully those are 22, 23s. We've already caught a couple 23s, which is really early. Usually that size fish doesn't come out until later. So I'm really crossing my fingers for a 26, 26 and a half this year. So,
wow.
And I hope I know where they're hiding because I've got a couple spots marked and I think I might know where they might be.
Yes.
More questions.
All right, we're rolling questions here.
I like it.
Yes. Okay. Well, Crazyhorse. You got it. Yeah, the pickerel mysteriously virtually disappeared. I feel like I'm a newscast. Virtually disappeared from the Severn a few years ago. Any clue why?
It is wild. That was a little bit before I was really targeting them hard. But it's a mystery. Some that no one really knows. They were doing really well supposedly, and then the next year, I'm not sure if it was all of a sudden 1 year they disappeared, but it was like you couldn't find them at all. And then a couple years later, they kind of came back, but you were catching those what people call little hammers or hammer handles or whatever, those like 12 inchers. And I know they're pretty sensitive fish. People think they're a little more sensitive, fragile than I think they are, but you definitely have to take good care of them when you're handling them. So, maybe there was just really, really high salinity 1 year that really hurt them, because I know they're very affected by that. But yeah, it's one of those mysteries that's weird, but I'm glad to see that they rebounded nicely.
For sure. Maybe David Sikorsky, if he's still on, can chime in about that. Between environmental changes, we don't know everything as far as the habits of bait fish and salinity and all these different variables that can come into play. I know that the CCA and the other groups that work with the CCA to do their surveys do a great deal of research on these things. So maybe if David's still on, he can speak to that as well.
Yeah, a little shout out to CCA coming up. They're starting their pickerel tournament pretty soon.
Yes.
I think it's starting November 1st. David, we got to get on that. But through February, and it's a blast. I love fishing that. It keeps me interested.
Oh no,
Oh,
we lost Eddie. Let's give him a minute to see if we can reconnect with him. Sorry, folks. If he can just stand by.
we'll chime in with your craziest.
Yeah.
There he is.
Okay, here he's back. There you go.
I don't know what happened.
Really quick though,
Short out.
because a lot of questions. Don't forget question of the evening.
Yes,
It is-
yes.
They're flooding in here.
I know. I'm writing a few down. There were some good ones.
Yes.
Uh,
Someone's
So yeah,
asking.
CCA pickerel tournament. Just keep that in mind for everyone. It's a fun one.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely stay connected with the CCA through, you can subscribe to the emails, you can become a member, and obviously you can go to their website and find out all the great events that come up, and it's a really good cause for all the work that they do.
Absolutely.
So for that plug, Eddie, really appreciate it. So where are your spots?
Steve, you know where they are.
Everyone's
You know where they are, Steve. You already showed me them.
All right, Max Applegate. I believe it's the salinity. Yeah, fluctuating that cause populations up and down. Years with lots of rain in spring usually have good pickerel in the fall and winter. Okay. Thank you for that, Max.
Yeah, it seems like the Severn was very, very salty this year, so I'm hoping that didn't hurt a lot of them. We've caught quite a few so far that are super, super skinny, and that's not unusual for right now because they're just kind of coming into their big feed where they really start beefing up. But they've also not looked all that healthy, so that makes me a little sad, a little afraid of the upcoming season. But there's plenty around.
Yeah, it's a good point. I wonder about the runoff as well. My first fishing experience was in the Potomac, closer to DC, and where we had launched, there were warning signs everywhere. Basically, poo-poo maybe in the water. There were a couple of days.
Right, right.
So yeah,
you don't want even the water splashing on you down there sometimes.
Yeah, it did smell pretty strong. I'm surprised I didn't. Plot twist. All right.
Oh, Mark.
They're just in the magazine. And your people are putting you out there.
That's right.
That's smiley face.
That would be the best undercover disguise.
Yes. Okay. So Grant says I have time for my questions. Now I want to touch on kayak fishing because I know that you do both. My question that I wrote down here, what kind of kayak fishing, well, fishing rods were already covered, but kayaks in particular, and I don't mean like what brand. You know the Severn River in and out better than both of us sitting here. But you know the different kind of kayaks. What kind of kayak would you recommend using in the Severn?
Yeah, so got this great advice from Steve as well. And for any beginner kayak fishermen out there, save a little bit more and buy your second kayak first.
Yep.
Buy the kayak that you are gonna like, you are gonna love going out on. That's comfortable. Pedal drive is an absolute must. You know, I upgraded to from a Three Waters to a native this year, which is so much lighter. One of our snakehead trips to the shore recently, me, Mark, and Warren did almost 13 miles in one trip. So you have to have a super comfortable kayak. Go there, test it out. There's a lot of great companies on the shore. Do your research. Pedal drive's a must. Oh, storage and just those little features. Like I love that my native has the under seat little drawer and a high seat. And a high seat is really, really helpful. So just those those would be my main tips. And just buy the one that's the most comfortable for you.
Okay, that's great. What about, I see you do a lot of sight casting in your videos. What do you say about that?
Yeah, so stability as well. I love standing in my kayak. So that's why I love the three waters, because that thing was a boat. I mean, that you could stand on the gunnels and that thing wouldn't flip over. It was a little heavy. It was a little hard to move around. So I like the native better for that, the weight and being able to get through the water easier. It's still plenty stable. So stable kayak that you can stand in, because like you said, I love sight fishing and being able to stand up, get that extra advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I have a native Titan, and that thing's a beast.
Yeah, great kayak though.
Felt, yeah. I used it at Smith Mountain Lake. It was a great kayak. Had some problems with my pedal drive, had to paddle, but that's yeah, I definitely recommend that. I also have an inflatable that I use to travel.
Nice.
It's a boat. It's a Lono. I'm still testing it out, so I don't have any recommendations on it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I feel like the flexibility of deflating it, putting it in the back of my car and going.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Got my 125-pound native on my little Toyota Corolla. So yeah.
Yeah, that Titan's a nice one, but it is pretty heavy.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Carl, Eddie, what do you think is the best way for us to give back? I love the give back questions. I don't know if I'll show. I love the give back questions to these tributaries that support us all year long. Praise for all you do to support your beloved river. I love how he put that too. It's very poetic.
Appreciate that. No, that's an awesome question too. You know, a lot of it's just take back whatever you take in.
Right.
You know, don't leave anything behind. Take out what you see, trash, all that stuff. Luckily, the Severn is pretty darn clean from what I see. So I think people do a pretty good job of that. Support things like CCA, like there's a Severn River Association that I want to get more involved in, that does a lot of research. You know, you can farm the oysters off your dock if you live on the water. Those are all great things to give back to.
For sure. I love that. Oh, Rashawn, Hobie, Hobie, Hoey. I love should have went with that. Grand wooden carved kayak. Yeah, right on. Michael Cool. How did kayak crabbing go this? Oh, you went crabbing with your kayak.
I have not, but that is a goal. That would be fun.
Yeah. That's a little tough. I guess it depends on what size kayak you have. I guess you'd have to have a little bit of
I've seen a lot of guys do traps.
Yes, the traps. I was thinking trot line.
Yeah, I'd be a little afraid to crab would get under my seat, and that'd be a little difficult to get out if I had a snakehead trapped under there. But crab's a whole different story.
Who doesn't like a little adventure in there?
That's right. You're right.
Brian, I don't know about those pedal drives. Seems a lot of reels with snake out through the hole. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. There are I like the native because it has cover for that. So you pull up the drive, put the cover down, and put the drive back, where others have that exposed hole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would be problematic on my boat, my inflatable kayak. That wouldn't work.
Right. Right. I wouldn't go crabbing on your inflatable kayak.
No, it's triple reinforced PVC, but I'm not testing that. Do we have any more questions? Oh, we actually come to the end of our questions. I have one for you. So, you know, I know that you have your bucket list, your goals, but what's your goals for? And I don't want to coin you as the Severn Angler because, you know, like you talked about, it's more of a community thing. But for the name and the mission, what are your goals moving forward?
Yeah, I think just keep promoting and bringing community together, the Severn as much as possible. Keep connecting with people. I am going to, thinking about expanding more, doing more Magothy River stuff. You know, maybe connecting the rivers and the communities together, because a lot of the you know, Severna Park half live on the Magothy and half live on the Severn. So a lot of that kind of Cape St. Clair is kind of the same way. So maybe expanding into that. Doing a lot more tournaments next year. High Octane, we're going to do more pickerel tournaments coming up and stuff like that. So I haven't put too many 2023 goals yet together, but just keep moving forward, I think.
Right on. Keep it a secret. It's okay. We like to be surprised by you.
That's all right.
How about, you know, I know that you have beautiful children. You know, I see Scott does, Melody does. You know, what about a derby? Bringing children into kayaks more and fishing more.
That would be very fun.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I know that idea. A lot of bank fishing derbies. I had the honor of volunteering, and I am terrible right now because I forgot the name of. Oh, Lucky and Blessed. Please forgive me. Please forgive me.
Yeah, Scott's my man.
Yes. So I had the pleasure of going out with him with kids. You know, I didn't catch one fish. It didn't matter. About being on the water, and whether it's children or you know, heroes on the water. And I'm not going to cry trying to say this, but it's just a powerful experience that changes you and changes your view a lot about fishing. The experience, really.
It does. You know, it brings you back to just enjoy what you catch. You know, like you mentioned with my daughter in that video. Yes. It was like a little spot. You know, it was actually a pretty big spot, but
yes,
it was a spot, and she thought it was the coolest thing that she'd ever caught in her whole life. You know, and I'm like, oh, it's a spot, it's bait, but you know, it grounds you, it humbles you a lot fishing with kids, so it's fun.
Yeah, I know the questions went out, you know, what can we do? I would add that to that. And I would also say, because I got reamed a little bit when I posted my video on the perch I caught in Virginia, why didn't you eat it? So it's not just bait, it's food too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, do we have any more questions? Because we're good for right now. Okay, cool. So if there are no more questions, I think we are good to go to who gets question of the evening and gets to choose these awesome prizes.
I know. Oh man, there were some really good ones. I'm trying to.
I know. Everyone made it really hard.
They did. I love Sam's question about favorite fish between snakes and pickerel. That was tough. I'm gonna go with James though, with the downsizing and the 3-inch versus 4-inch size. I think that was nicely thought out. So
let's take a minute and see if we can.
And it kind of it took one of the things out that I was gonna say. So I think that was a great question.
So Eddie, do you recommend that he reach out to you for the prize, and you guys can talk about which one he prefers and get the mailing and all that good stuff?
Yeah, okay, that sounds great.
Thank you. So how do you want him to contact you? Through Facebook? Or I don't want to give your number out over.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, Facebook or Instagram. He can reach out to me.
Okay, so at either Eddie Weber or the Severn Angler, either one will get to you?
Yep, Severn River Angler. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I really enjoyed this show very much. And hey, everyone say really enjoyed everyone's question. Really great energy. Learned so much. Can't say enough about Eddie. I'm sure everyone can, and they have on this show. So anyone who's tuning in who's not from the Chesapeake area, definitely follow Eddie Weber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. No doubt we'll post those links up at the end of the show as well. Do you have any words of wisdom? You've given so many nuggets. You've given Tackle Tuesdays for the entire year. Any golden nuggets to leave us with?
Just go out and enjoy. This is an awesome time of the year. I love the fall going into winter. It actually felt good to have to put a sweatshirt on this morning when I went out. I was like, oh yeah, all right, fall's here. Here we go. So just enjoy the journey. That's what I'm trying to get back to, is just enjoy every time you go out, whether you catch a little tiny spot or or you catch your PB. Just enjoy being out there.
No doubt. Catch the sunrise and sunset. We have some really beautiful ones here. In the
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time, Eddie. I know that.
Thank you. I really appreciate coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great evening. Fish on, everybody. Bye-bye.
Got off in town, resident on Severn Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go through the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he could last stream. He's the first man to prove that water run upstream. That's why I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, you know he is my friend.